Greetings, one and all. And you are here today witnessing the first episode of God versus Goddess. Today we have the beautiful and gorgeous Tiffany Taylor. Okay, brothers, control yourself, all right? Don't get all crazy because she hot, okay? So don't y'all get to tripping, okay? I know y'all gonna get excited when y'all see the queen. But you know what I mean? This is my girl right here. I love Tiffany. She did this for me on Instagram. And now we're bringing it over to YouTube. I'm sure she's going to be here a couple times. She got a lot to say. She's a very upward and mobile sister. And this God versus Goddess series is basically letting the Black woman express herself. We're going to let her do what she do. We want to hear what the women have to say. We want to hear their point of view, how they look at us. How can we improve ourselves? What are they going through dealing with us? What is dating like? What is family like? What is like for the Black woman? So I'm glad you're all here. Good to see you, Michael, Quaylen, Will, Steelmatic, More Powers. Good to see you all. And without any further ado, let's get on with it, all right? So we are here with the beautiful and gorgeous Tiffany Taylor. Hey, Tiff.
Hi.
How you doing, sweetie? I haven't talked to you in a while.
I know, and I'm so thankful that you are having me back on, and just for being a part of everything that you've been doing because I've been watching.
Oh, okay.
I've been watching
I hope I've been behaving myself.
somewhat, but we all know you, so those
Yeah.
of us who appreciate your teaching, we know how you are. So
So you look lovely. I'm gonna try to control myself, okay? I want to jump through this screen, baby girl. So now we haven't talked in a while. How have things been? How you been doing, first of all?
I've been doing well. I've been growing.
Oh,
And so I'm sure that there's at least about 10, maybe 20 people who watched the first time who's tuning in now. I have a totally different perspective.
oh, do you?
Yes, I do. Because
Perspective?
you told us that every 5 to 7 years
Mm-hmm.
we change,
Mm-hmm.
but time has been flying by so fast now. I think it's about 2 to 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see, because I have no clue of what you have to ask me. So let's see.
So, what has dating or relationships been like through this whole COVID situation? What has that been like?
Well, I can't really relate to that because I haven't been dating,
Mm.
but getting to know myself more is what I've been focused on, like who I am today as a person and where I'm going, you know. forward. So um, I guess I can't really answer that one,
Hmm.
but it's definitely been some things that's changed since the last time we talked.
Okay. So, is there any particular reason why you haven't been dating?
Um, well, I must say that I'll be 42 in January.
Hmm.
So I'm a 42-year-old Capricorn. And for those of us that's Capricorns, you might be able to relate without me saying much more. But for me, it's just been that given the fact that I've elevated. So I've elevated in some things to where I'm definitely looking for someone that's matching my energy, matching what I'm bringing to the table, or able to meet me in the middle of what we can both bring, to be able to elevate as one. So,
And now, what are some of the things that they have to match? Keep talking. I'm gonna walk out the screen, but tell the audience what are some of the things they have to match.
well, for one, for me, we have gotten into um, the times where you definitely want to be in business for yourself. And so I would have to say, first of all, being able to maneuver through business endeavors, um, just the whole building aspect is one thing for me. So if we're able to build together, then that definitely would capture my interest. Um, also spiritual beliefs. Like where are you at with your spirituality?
Mhm.
Um, and those two things for me, I guess, is the biggest thing more so than anything. Any other factors, how many children you got, what you own, what you don't own, um, who you work for, if you work for yourself, all those other aspects really don't speak before those two things for me. And so I guess I would have to say that's more so of a personal, like an individual thing that would be important to a person.
Right. Now, what are some of the things that if a man is trying to date you or trying to holler at you, want to spend some time with you, what are some of the things they need, the attributes they need to have concerning you as a businesswoman? How should they act? Or, what should be the vibe? If you're a businesswoman and I'm going out with you, what can I do to really help make the relationship more solid and make you happier?
Well, I think, as far as my perspective, it's more of what I'm watching for. I'm watching for, the main things like jealousy, and that's a huge one because any person in business is going to have to deal with the opposite sex. So if I can't reach out to my uncle Pharaoh and say, "Hey, I need a consultation, and
Mhm.
I want to order some of your pamphlets that you have about veganism and things like that, and we can have a working relationship about my goals and where I'm trying to go, and that be held, to something that, my goals. If that's a goal or something that I have, then I'm looking forward to the person to understand that that's a goal of mine, and it's something that needs to be respected. First of all, by all means, you
Right.
know, if I if I'm feeling uncomfortable about reaching out to Pharaoh, um, something simple as a consultation or something simple as even following his teachings, then that to me says that I don't really want to be bothered with that situation, you know, because
Right.
we never met in person.
Right.
So, if a person was to have an issue with me laying in my bed and watching my 55-inch TV with Pharaoh on it, and you teaching me some stuff that I really want to, engage in, then that's an issue for me.
Right. So
And
a man pretty much has to let a woman do her, right?
yes, I mean, if she's bringing something to the table, you know she's bringing elevation to the table, she's bringing business aspects to the table, she's bringing health and wealth to the table. I mean, that's something that she's seeking. That to me is, you know health and wealth, for the most part, is something that's important to me, such as spirituality,
Hmm.
because we need all three of those things to even live. You know
True.
what I'm saying? So if I can't get down with that, I'm sorry, my girl in the background. If I can't get down with that, then I don't have much to work with, because you're cutting me short. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? And I just feel like that's something that definitely can hurt, you know, uh, a newly found relationship,
Right.
where you trying to get to know a person and you like, what you always watching that brother for, or what you always, you know, doing this and that for, if it's something that that person is feeling like that's elevating them.
Right.
It can be the same for men too. You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
like, if I'm telling you that I feel like this is something that's elevating me, I don't feel like it's nothing that you need to be, have caution to.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree. Now, for us men, say if I'm with you, I'm going to be very crazy about you. And
Yeah.
I'm going to really think you're just the greatest. And I'm going to be so attracted to you. So I'm going to think that every man wants you like I want you.
That's the downfall of being pretty. I don't even I don't even know how to answer that,
Hmm.
because I didn't came to the conclusion that that alone is something that might have me growing old by myself, but I'm prepared for that. I'm ready for that. I'm like, I would never be the type of woman to say, I don't need a man, because that's not true.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But that's something that I'm willing to accept, as what it is, because that's a downfall. Now, for a woman that, and I hate to even, I'm not even trying to sound like, you know what I'm saying, I'm on some type of higher level than anybody else, but I know for me with men, the pretty factor is it can be a downfall.
Hmm.
Because it plays with the lack of trust. It brings jealousy to the situation. Um, it can also bring lies to the situation, because people will lie, and say, hey, she said this to me, or we got down, or something to that nature, that'll make, your mate, it just plants that seed. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? That's something that can definitely happen by having a woman that's attractive,
Yeah.
whether it's her facial beauty or her body attributes.
Right. And you got all that. So listen,
Mm.
people want to know where you're from, sweetheart.
I'm from West Michigan.
West Michigan. She's
I
from
can
you
go
all.
to the beach anytime I want to, just like you folks in Chicago.
That's right. That's right. Now, What are some of your complaints about dating?
Um, like I said, I really haven't been dating much, but I have a array of beautiful black women that are my friends and or close family, where I can say that when you get a certain age point, there's always a person that comes with the person. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Whether they call it their best friend, whether it's their baby mama or it's their ex, you know. Now the new term is their work husbands or wives. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So you have those groups of people that can really soil dating.
Mm. So, what is a work husband or wife? What is that?
Um, I don't have much personal influence on that, but I have had because I'm pretty.
Right.
I've had men that was attracted to me in ways that they didn't try to seduce me in any kind of way, but just their actions when they seen me or were around me made me uncomfortable. And I know, any woman knows, even men know when a woman is attracted to them. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so those types of things, I think, really put an emphasis on people who attach themselves to you in a work environment. you
Mm.
know. And then depending on how closely you have to work with them, like if it's a two-man team or a two-man woman team or something like that, then those people they kind of adapt to that type of, environment to where they might not put the wording stipulation on it, but that's basically what it is. They're
Mm.
making sure you eat every day. They're concerned about you. They're listening to your concerns. They're listening to you vent about your partner or your spouse if you have one. And they might even be lending money to each other, giving advice, financial advice, or home advice. They have a certain influence on your spouse that you know nothing about.
Mm.
And you're in competition and don't even know you're in competition.
Wow.
That
Wow.
sucks.
Wow.
Because if I'm in competition with somebody, at least I want to know who my competition is. You know what I mean?
Right. Interesting.
Yeah.
So, what are some of the things men should never do on a date?
Never do on a date. I don't think they would do that. She like bagged that thing up, but I don't think they would do that. But I would say never be unattentive because when you're on a date or on a first date for sure, the other person is definitely paying close attention to, things that you're doing. Like, are you listening to voicemails? Are you texting a lot? Are you going to the bathroom a lot? Because that says to me that you're on that phone.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Are you being picky about certain things to where we might not be compatible? Um, um, I would say that that's about the gist of it for me.
Mm-hmm.
How much you're paying attention to your phone.
Mm.
I can capture your attention enough, just by our conversation and just finally being alone because it's not going to be nothing this, you know, 1 or 2 days. Now we're on a date. That I don't operate like that.
Mm.
I'm paying attention to stuff like that.
Mm.
Mhm.
So do you think, and from your girlfriends and your, the females you're around, do you all think that relationships are harder or easier to maintain these days?
They're harder to maintain these days. And I think I'm just speaking from my age group. I would say maybe like 38 and up. I'll be 42 myself in January. Shout out to those Capricorns. But I would say that it's harder at my age group um, because people are set in their ways.
Mm.
So that's kind of like a hard thing to combine. And most people are coming with families or what we would call back in our Erica Badu days baggage,
Hmm.
drama, um, you know, there was another word I had for that, but it just left me. But I think baggage and drama pretty much speaks for everything abroad.
Mm. Mm.
Drama with its teeth.
A lot of drama.
Yeah. I just have to say, my good friend over here, she's a licensed therapist. So she didn't want me to say that, but maybe she'll leave me alone now because um, I'm sure she hears a lot. And she'll
Oh,
learn from me.
oh, I need to interview her. Tell her I need to interview her. So set that up.
I was hoping you would say that, but yeah, she is. I'm the lady is bad. Do you hear me? She is, and we ain't talked in a year before today, so this is really funny to me. She giving me, she giving me the finger, but it is what it is. She's a licensed therapist, so she's good at what she do, and I'm sure she hears a lot of relationship stuff.
Mm.
She ain't heard mine yet, so.
Okay. So now, when we go out with a female, should men be sexually aggressive or laid back when they hang out with a woman for the first few times? I mean, at what point do we, make a move? Because if we're laid back too long, she's going to think how should we handle that?
I think that's more like of an age group thing. Um, I would say at my age, in the 40 age, 35, 45, okay, I would say the woman would definitely let you know by her body language, how she might be one to be more touch, touching on the male herself or giving body language signs to saying, hey, I want you to touch on me or I'm inviting you into my space.
Hmm.
Um, I think for anybody older than that, um, it might kind of be like a touch and tail kind of thing. Like you might have to, grab her elbow or underneath her chin or, maybe the back of her head and stuff and see how she reacts with her body movement to kind of tell you how far she wants you to come in or how far she wants you to stay back. And I think with the younger generation under 35, I think the women themselves will let you know. She got her leg up in the air. She said they go throw their leg.
Right.
That part. So I think they'll pretty much let you know under that age group, how far they willing to take it on the first, second, third date.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Now, if a woman has children, what is the juggling act that has to be done, between her baby's children, and her new man that she's seeing? Or how does that work out? How does she have to deal with that?
Um, Only way I can really go into that is like my personal thing. Like I have a son with autism, so I definitely won't be too quick. And I also have a little girl, so little girls, I think, and any kid that's like on the spectrum, you kind of like have to be, um, you have to know the person that you're bringing,
Mm-hmm.
to combine with them in any
Definitely.
shape or form.
Definitely.
You know, I've been in some situations where it wasn't even a date or anything like that, just coworkers. We all met at a big arcade that we have here, which is called like Craig's Cruisers. And, everybody was just kind of helping out with the kids, making sure that we all was able to keep them together and stuff like that. And even I had to recognize that, excuse me, that it wasn't an issue for me, but far as knowing that my son is on the spectrum and that would be something that he would be excited to tell his father about that might get carried out of context.
Mm.
I was kind of concerned about that. Even though it didn't happen, but it was something that I was prepared that could happen because
In-
it wasn't even nobody that I was dating or had interest in dating. It was just a coworker that was there and happened to be a male, and he was escorting. Well, he chose to escort me and my children in our endeavors that night. And so, yeah, I kind of had to pay attention to that, and hopefully that it didn't turn into nothing that it wasn't, in which it didn't, which was a good thing. But that is definitely something that I have a concern with because I have a son that's on this spectrum, and then I have a young daughter as well. So I'm not too quick to bring anybody around my family.
right.
Yeah,
Right.
I want to feel like I know that person.
Interesting. Now, do you prefer a man that has a job or a entrepreneur?
For me, I would say either one. Um, because I know I tend to like to date older men, and it can go either way with them. They can been at a job for 15, 20 years, or they can be an entrepreneur, whether been an entrepreneur for a while or just newly to entrepreneurship. Um, I've The last person that I dated had been on a job for years, and they end up having to leave that job, and that was a experience that I wasn't ready for because it's like, okay, you've been working for the man all this time, like let's get off into some entrepreneurship. You have skills, and that wasn't really reciprocated like I thought it would be, and so it kind of threw me back.
Hmm.
So I guess I would have to say I would really rather for a person to be established in either or.
Good answer. Good answer. So, does a man have to be the main financial provider in the relationship?
No.
How does that work out? I mean, what's going on with the relationship financially? What do women expect for a man financially in a relationship?
I would say that there's levels to it. There's some women that definitely want a man to be the provider, um, where they don't have to open their pocketbook to go out on dates or do special things and things like that. I think the reality of it is that now that we have this generation underneath us that's more like 50-50, that we have to take some accountability for financial things, far as um, whether it be gifts or whether it just be, I don't know. Me personally, I just feel like I'm established. I have my own. I'm a homeowner. Um, I don't need anybody's income for anything. Um, I just feel like I just want a person to be able to match me or have more. Or I feel like unless I was with a person already or have dealt with this person already, that um, I wouldn't want them to have less than me. But if I seen that a person have potential, like there's different variables that might make a person have potential. Like, say for instance, they were in a job for a long time and something happened with that job to where they had to leave that job. Then helping somebody become an entrepreneur, I wouldn't feel like it was an obligation. I would feel like, okay, I'm helping this person build. If this is
Right.
what we're doing, I don't
Right.
have a problem with
Right.
that. And vice versa. I want somebody to help me come up,
Right.
further
Right.
than where I'm at. Help me with my entrepreneurship, because that's something that I'm also into, other than having, my career.
Mm.
So I would guess that would more so be open to what the person has going on and what they're looking to doing in the future. But
That's interesting.
yeah, with my age group, I don't think we can be as picky as we used to. Maybe could be. I'm not sure what my auntie was doing.
Right.
She was my age, but I know a lot of them are still single. So you know,
Right.
guess I would have to do my research on that.
Now, are men a little reluctant, a little scared nowadays to push towards marriage?
Yeah, I would say maybe, and I'm saying maybe because with stuff that I've been seeing on social media lately, I think it's been having men having to rethink of what they're really looking for. You see them going to places like the Dominican Republic, and the women are so tame. Like they're different from black women, or they're different from American women, to where it's like I think men are at this day having to reevaluate what it is that they want from a woman. Um, you don't think so, Boo? Okay. Oh, she said I'm right on. Okay, so yeah, I'm just thinking that um, I think men are really trying to catch up right now on what it is that they want from a woman, or what they feel like they can obtain from a woman. You know, um, and different age groups as well is involved in that as well. So I don't think I can really answer that question more than that.
Now, how much is crime, like prison and homosexuality with men, hurting the dating scene for the black woman?
Oh man, that prison thing is really hurting, because I know it's a lot of men in prison. Like I have connections, whether it be my family or old friendships that I had, with guys that have been locked down for 10, 20 years, maybe is coming up on their last few years, days of prison or whatever. And I hear from women a lot that they like, oh, I don't want no men from prison because of this, that, and the other, in which I think we all know what the obvious is. But um, that's where all our men is at.
Mm.
So, to women that's watching out there, that might be something you want to rethink. And I would have to say, I wouldn't be too big on it, like the pen pal situation, unless it's somebody that I knew previously. I mean, obviously, you still need to get to know someone. You know what I'm saying? Because as Pharaoh has taught us that, we change every few years. So
Hmm.
can't say, oh, I know dude. You don't know dude if you ain't seen dude in 10, 15 years. You know
Right.
of dude, and that's a good start.
Right.
When you're talking about a prison relationship or getting to know someone in prison. But
Right.
that's where most of our men are at. And for
Wow.
the women that I do know that's indulging in prison relationships or prison marriages, those men are holding them down and them women are elevating. They elevating. They getting their credit scores up. They buying houses. They more attentive to their children. Like, I mean, there's some good things that's going on with women that's indulging in prison relationships.
Mm.
You know,
Mm.
so the unknown about when that brother comes home and things that you might not did too much, I don't know, but right now they helping keeping women heads up and keeping them looking forward and fighting for the next day because everybody love tomorrows.
Right. So,
Okay.
you being a black woman, is there a large amount of single black women looking to try to find relationships out there?
I would say so because I'm in that group. So I would say so. Um, I have a mixture as far as my circle. I've married friends. I have friends that's dating. I have friends that's in relationships. I have friends that's engaged. And I have friends that's single. Friends and family, I should say.
Hmm.
So, yeah. I mean, like I said, it just revolves back to my age group. Like, I feel like I could speak better for my age group. In my age group, I would say that single, if you're not ready in your mind and your heart, or your mind and your soul, however some people may look at it, to be single, it can be challenging because it's not nothing is quickly turned over. And if it's quickly turned over, then, it's going to keep being a turnover. That door is just going to be a revolving door.
Right.
So it's definitely something you want to take your time with. If you're dating, that's one thing, if that's what you want to call it. But being in and out of relationships, that would say to me, myself, or somebody that I was friends with, or one of my family members, or whatever, that maybe you need to just slow down and get to know who you are and what you're trying to do and who you're trying to attract.
Mm. So, do you find that a lot of men pretend they want a relationship, but they really just want sex a few times and then things get strange?
Hell yeah. In the fall, they want somewhere warm. They want to cozy up. They want to cozy up. And then you got tax time right around the corner. So if they cozy up good enough, then they might get a few extra dollars or a few trinkets or something like that come February, March. So of course,
Mm.
that is definitely not a time to me where you want to be trying to trust in someone that they're being who they say they are.
Mm.
I'd rather it be a cold winter.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. So there's a lot of that. So for us men, um, when we meet a woman, are they going to have a large body count nowadays?
I can't even really defend us sisters. How I, I get on Instagram and it just be just for like maybe a couple minutes or so, and I'm like, golly, they don't be holding it up. Instagram or TikTok, anything where people really can show their personality and their characters and stuff like that, women be cut up. We be showing out, and I don't think it's fair. It's not. It's not fair. It's not fair. For one, I don't have mega knees, so it's not fair to me because I can't do a lot of stunts these women be doing. But even if I could, I wouldn't want to because I just kind of carry myself a little differently. So women with class is like us as broad as black women. I think we kind of shown to be cutting up nowadays on social media. So it's looking kind of ugly out there for us.
Now, for the men out there, are there a lot of women that we're attracted to that really on the low like women?
Ooh. Personally, I would have to say I really don't know,
Mhm.
but um, I would have to say that people will assume. I don't know. I just had one of these conversations with my sister, and I had a couple friends that I've been known for years that are stud women or they're lesbians or whatnot. And we were like close, like having, close relationships, just, being able to come to my home and hanging out publicly. And she like, that people say that, you know, Tiff is hanging out with that stud. I'm like, what? Like people really judge you on stuff like that. So, you know, me, frankly, it's not my preference at all.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying? But I mean, it's kind of hard to say because some people just like hanging out with people that have different characteristics because they're more of themselves and they're more free. They're very fun and educational people to be around.
Mhm.
But you get judged for being around people like that.
Wow.
I don't know that. Yeah, that kind of hurt my feelings because some of my good friends, and I can't say no more than I can say a man that I grew up with being friends with, um, that we call each other friends and they might have had some type of hidden passion for me or something like that. But it's just hard to say, how people truly feel about you. But that right there is kind of like a touchy subject for me because we just was talking about that and I was like, man, I really don't like women. Like I don't, find any attraction to a woman other than saying that that woman is beautiful or that woman has a nice shape or something like that. Um, but far as my sexuality is nothing to question about that. But I feel like I should be able to have friends that like, the same sex and it shouldn't be questionable, but it is.
Wow. So, what are some of the biggest complaints you hear from black women about black men?
Um, Cheating, um, being in relationships with not being married, but being in long term relationships and not leaving if that's something that they said they're gonna do. Um, Men getting older when us younger women choose older men getting older and not being able to keep up as much. Um, I think the cheating more so is maybe like people having hidden sex addictions or something like that. Because it really just be crazy the type of things that people would do. It can't even really work with people without wanting to have sex with them. That sort of thing can be really hurtful to a woman that's dedicated to a man and they send a man to work and you don't know what they have going on with their coworkers. You
Wow.
know. Um, um, I think those are the major things, in my opinion.
So does it seem like some men have like low self-esteem and they try to conquer that with sex, trying to see how many women they could be with because there's something really going on there? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a huge possibility. Also, yeah, self esteem. Um, I was gonna say self esteem and also insecurities is a major thing. Um, I mean, because since we kind of talking about it, I'm sure there's a lot of brothers that are not so well endowed, and so they don't realize that. Well, yes, they do. I'm not gonna say they don't realize that that's an issue. They know that from a young boy because um, generations ago we were all changing clothes in locker rooms and stuff, and so a lot of men did a lot of comparisons in those days, and so they know that they're not um, as well endowed as other men. Like once you see, because there's really no way that a woman can size themselves up to another woman, but I think men have done that, and so they're able to know. And then once they know that, I think it like creates insecurities and in their relationships with women that have been with other men before them. I think if the man is lacking a couple other things to go on top of that, it's just basically like a done deal. And that right there is a tricky thing for a lot of relationships, I believe, you know. And then you have some women that don't mind it. They probably more attracted to men that's not well endowed because then they don't have to worry about those well endowed brothers who be feeling themselves and have too much confidence and always cheating and being involved with other women and scandals and stuff like that. So
Interesting. So nowadays it seems that would you say that relationships are not really based off of unity, financial structure, and things like that? They're more based off of just sexuality and temporary pleasure? Or what would you think?
I think that there's definitely some strong relationships out there, strong marriages, strong families. I know a lot of them. People that's been 5, 10, 15, 20 years in. Um, but I think like there's been a shift to where there's like a lot of people that are second guessing their relationships and they're thinking about getting back out here or they're back out here on the dating scene, whether they're divorced, separated, or just leaving long term relationships, and they're finding out that um, things are different than it was maybe 5 years ago or maybe 10 years ago, most definitely. Um, that, the dating scene is just not the same. And the older you get, the more people are set in their ways, and so it's kind of hard to match up, once you get to a certain era.
Right. Right. So pretty much you would say that when they get a little older, they don't mind hanging out, but they don't really want to get married and stuff like that. They kind of want to just you come and go.
Yeah, that can be a big possibility for a lot of people. And depending on, I would say that definitely depends on their age, their monetary status, their livelihood situation, or whether they're roommating, or whether they're situated on their own, whether they own a home, or whether they're still renting, whether they like to travel a lot, whether they have children, whether they have family obligations, like, family, their mom and dad, they may have to take care of or something like that. People settle down for the reasons that they want to settle down for. But I don't think it's too far off of what we're used to. I think in the 30s, you definitely need to be looking for the person or knowing the type of person that you're looking for to settle down with. Once you get in your 40s, I think it's pretty much touch and go. Like if you're a traveler, you might can find a person. But in your hometown, I mean, you can find a person, but are they equally yoked? Because they might already be married or they might have children, you don't have children, or vice versa, to where um, you really still don't end up being a good matchup for that person. And then those types of people don't find that types of stuff out until like they're 2 or 3 years into the relationship.
Wow. So 2 or 3 years into a relationship before they find out they don't really match up.
That's a lot of wasted time. And might even be invested because younger couples, they like to move in money. So they're matching up money or they're merging in businesses or, they're um, investing in each other. You know what I'm saying? And then you find out that, yeah, this is a good business partner, but I don't want to be with this person. You know what I'm saying? For this or that other reason. And so then you have that failed relationship and then you're trying to figure out how to cut ties with the business and stuff like that. I see that a lot.
Now I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to tell me if I'm right or wrong. From my perspective as a man, to me, the most valuable thing that I could bring to a relationship is trust and loyalty. Like
Mm-hmm.
if I'm loyal and you can trust me and I'm there 100%,
Mm-hmm.
to me that's worth everything.
Go.
I don't feel like there's nothing else more valuable than that,
Mm-hmm.
because one thing is, no matter who you with, they could snake you. What do you think about that idea?
I think you're definitely right. I think that is something that is important to any age group, the trust and the loyalty. Um, I think with younger people, they probably throw the terms out a lot because they hear that that's supposed to be important, but they don't really truly know what that entails. You know, Loyalty is being with a person and then separating from the person, but still having to be attached to the person for business reasons or even insurance reasons, you know, um, financial obligations, housing obligations, um, the children. So that loyalty can go a lot further than what these young folks really anticipate. They just thinking loyal, like not cheating or not um, putting somebody in front of them or something like that.
Hmm.
The loyalty really go longer than that. The loyalty really means messing with somebody the long way is the term that they use, in the long way entails a lot of things. And it
Hmm.
can be things that, don't have anything to do with sex. The person might not even be living in your home, but you still feel loyal or obligated to helping them through these situations until we can get things separated or that person comes up on a better situation or something like that.
Okay. So, do you think people are capable of understanding that if they get in a relationship, how much they have to adapt to the changes they go through, like over the years? Sometimes people expect things to stay the same. I think a strong relationships takes adaptability, because over years things go all different type of ways. I've seen situations where financially a woman to be with a man, and financially he might go down, and then she break up, and then he go back up. And so what do you think overall is like, because we lack long-term relationships, how could the Black community get back long-term relationships?
Learned long-term relationships. Personally, I would say they take sacrifice, because if speaking, if a person was up and y'all got together and then they went down, the sacrifice may be how this person is able to adapt or not able to adapt to how they are when they go down. So if I lose my job and I become depressed, and I'm not only not working and not bringing income to the household or whatever we had on the table, I'm not helping, at home. I'm not helping with the household, with the children and stuff like that. Then that becomes a bigger barrier on the relationship. And so, therefore, the person is the breadwinner now, and the person is holding the weight of the relationship, is maybe just can't handle that situation like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what the hell is going on? I can't get this person motivated to do anything else besides work for the man. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, that can put a damper on things to where, you're not even really able to work through that situation because that person has changed up on you. You know, they changed up on you, and now you feeling the burden of two people, and maybe this has been going on for a while, and so you decide at that point that that's not nothing you want to continue doing, because how can you continue to grow if this person is not going to come out of this space that they're in,
Mm-hmm.
or they're not readily able to adapt to a new situation. That's just like if I walk in my job on Monday and they tell me, well, Tiff, um, over the weekend we had a meeting and things have changed. Either I'm gonna adapt to the change, or I'm gonna say, here go my badge and here go my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Sometimes you got to be ready right then and there to change. And I think when you dealing in income and you dealing in household changes like that, you got to be readily, you should be mentally readily to adapt, within at least a couple weeks. Like, okay, I got this. I got some prospects over here. I talked to this group of friends, or, I'm working on this and that, but ain't nowadays, these days we living in, ain't nobody got time for nobody to be in no funk for no 2-3 years span talking about, I'm trying to get my job back, or I'm trying to find a situation that was like my situation that I got, you know, taken away from. You know what I'm saying? It's like, no, you got to be able to get back on your business. You got to, show the same strength that you had in the beginning throughout.
Mm-hmm.
And, if you can't do that, then you really losing, because I don't see too many people really, it's not like back then, if my granddad fell off, my grandma had 5-6 G's in the envelope. She like, here, I was saving this up for a time like this. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
therefore, she giving them that push, and we can give the men the push today, but mentally, can they handle the push and keep going? You know,
Right.
they taking the push and they still falling down. It's like, nah, we ain't got time for that. We got to keep moving.
Right.
Because if this boat stop for too long, then it's gonna start going down. We got
Right.
to keep sailing.
You're 100% correct. So now we're going to end this. What I want you to do is give black men some advice before we call it a night. Like, we're all listening to you. You're a black woman. You're on that side. We're black men on this side. Break it down to us. Give us some advice. Okay. What could you tell us? What we need to do?
Well, luckily, you brothers have social media. So when you meet a woman or you're trying to get to know a woman, you have social media that kind of like help you along. And it's vice versa for women and men vice versa. So, you can kind of like do your homework on a person. And although some people use social media or whatnot for entertainment, you can kind of pick up on that. So I wouldn't say go into it with your personal feelings, but just kind of look around and see what this person is posting, what they're talking about. Um, and then also, a person can tell you anything. What are they showing you? Are they showing you that they making time for you? Are they showing you that they have interest in you? Or are they showing you that there's some type of need that you have that they're interested in? Um, are they showing you that the things that you come with as the other person, whether it be children or um, ailment or anything like that, are they showing you that that's important to them, that they care about that? Or are they showing you that that'll possibly be a burden to them because they're not really trying to put emphasis on what's going on with you and the baggage that you bring to the table? Because after a certain age, just we can be clear about it. A lot of us are bringing baggage to the table, you know. Hate to call it that, as far as children and ailments or parents or anything
Mm-hmm.
like that, but that's what it is. So
Right.
is that person taking interest in what you got going on, you know,
Right.
your personal life? And I'm sure there's some other stuff, but that's the main thing.
Well, you're definitely sharp. You're definitely a catch, brothers. Hey, y'all better get on that. She can't stay single. Y'all need to hunt that down.
Hey, y'all can look me up, top 5 81 on any platform, but right now I'm not looking. I'm like most women my age in that early 40, we trying to figure us out because we
Right,
changed it to something else.
right,
You know what I'm saying? So, you know,
right.
hey, my brother got a slogan, GTM. I'm trying to get to the money.
100%
So
correct,
that's
sweetheart.
where you can meet me at. So
That's
if
right.
you get to the money and I'm getting to the money, then we might cross paths.
Right. I feel you on that.
Yeah.
So that was excellent. You're beautiful. You're very intelligent. And it's always a pleasure. I'm going to bring you back. We're going to wait 6 months or 8 months. I'm going to bring you back, but it's always a pleasure, sweetheart. And anytime I come to Michigan, I'm gonna run down on you. And
You better.
if you come to Chicago, make sure you contact me. All right?
Definitely. I sure will. And
Oh,
I love you, brother. You keep me going. You
yeah,
know,
that's
keep
beautiful.
me inspired. And, if y'all is tuning in because of me, you better get on Pharaoh because I don't share my secret. I can go in the barbershop. I can go in anywhere and talk stuff with all the brothers that I be around because I'd rather talk to the men than the women, okay? And
I tell you this, I'm 64, I'm about to be 65.
yeah.
But if I was a little bit younger, I wouldn't be trying to hear that you ain't looking for nobody. I'll run your ass down.
Well, that's what they better do. I like a little chase.
I'll run you down and I'll be persistent. Okay. So I would get that. I wouldn't let that go to waste. Okay. It's always a pleasure. All right, sweetheart.
Same here. Thank
All
you for
right.
having me on.
All right. Good night.
All right, I'll see you.
All right.
Bye, y'all.
So that was Tiff doing her thing. She's a cutie pie. So I hope you all enjoyed that. these women like that, they like family members, I got a whole family I met on social media. Tiff, I wouldn't run her down because she's like, it's like my niece or something like that. There's like a connection there, right? So I'll be more likely to run down her enemies than run her down. So don't bother her because it's going to be problems if she let me know if she called me crying and you making her uncomfortable, I'm gonna have to get the guys and come see you. So ladies, reach out to me if you want to get on here. She's very pleasant young lady. She's about getting her money. She's growing every day. And this show, God versus Goddesses, is going to give the black women an opportunity to say what they think. And for men to sit back and listen for a change, I think we need to listen. We need to listen to the sisters to get a real idea on what they think and how they look at the situation when they're dealing with us and what we can do to improve ourselves. So, as always, it was a pleasure, and you all have a wonderful night.